Welcome back to this expert Loksewa preparation explainer. We're jumping straight into the Constitution of Nepal, specifically breaking down Part 6, which covers the President and Vice President. If you're gearing up for Section Officer, Naib Subba, or Kharidar exams, you already know mastering these constitutional provisions is make or break. So, we're going to decode Articles 61 through 73 today, keeping it highly analytical and totally exam-oriented. Let's get right to it.
Okay, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Graphic overview. 2. Qualifications and term. 3. Electoral mechanics. 4. Oaths and vacation. 5. Exam analysis. And 6. Answer writing strategies.
Right, Section 1, Graphic Overview. Grab a pen, because locking down these exact article numbers in your head is literally step 1 for scoring top marks.
We're diving into Articles 61 through 67 first. And what's really cool here is the logical flow of the law. The Constitution establishes the President in Article 61 as the head of state, whose absolute main duty is to protect the Constitution. Then it flows right into how they're elected in 62, their 5-year term in 63, the exact qualifications in 64, how the office becomes vacant in 65, and their core functions in 66. Finally, Article 67 brings in the Vice President. Having this specific sequence memorized is a total game changer for the exam.
And rounding out this part, we have Articles 68 through 73. Now, these lean heavily into the Vice President, with Article 69 mirroring the President's qualifications. You really need to pay attention to Article 70. That's the massive inclusivity clause. And the administrative stuff like oaths, remuneration, and office setups in 71 through 73. We'll unpack the most testable parts of these in just a sec.
Moving on to Section 2, Qualifications and Term. We are diving right into the core legal prerequisites that examiners just love to test. 45. This number is an absolute favorite for objective questions. Article 64 explicitly says a candidate has to have completed at least 45 years of age to be president. Burn that number into your brain. So besides being 45, they also have to be qualified to become a member of the federal parliament, and obviously not disqualified by any law. Also keep in mind the strict term limit. If someone is elected twice as president, they are done. They cannot be a candidate again. The term itself is exactly 5 years from election day, under Article 63. Oh, and one more thing. Articles 62 and 67 make it crystal clear. If the person appointed already holds a nominated or elected political office, that prior office becomes ipso facto vacant, instantly. Okay, Section 3, Electoral Mechanics. Article 62 sets up a multi-layered election process, and you absolutely need to understand it step by step for those high-scoring subjective questions. The president isn't just chosen by a popular vote. They're elected by an electoral college. And this is a beautiful reflection of Nepal's federal structure, because that college includes members of both the federal parliament and the state assemblies. But here is the critical detail you must write down in your exams. The voting weightage actually differs between federal and state members, based entirely on federal law. Now, let's talk about the multi-round voting system. Examiners love trying to trip you up here. In round 1, a candidate needs a majority of the existing total votes. If nobody hits that, round 2 is just between the top 2 candidates, again needing more than 50% of the total votes. But what if there's still a tie? They go to a third round. And here is the trick. In round 3, the winner only needs a majority of the total valid votes cast. Did you catch that? Not total votes, but total valid votes cast. That threshold shift is huge. Which brings us to Article 70, the Inclusion Clause. It explicitly mandates that the election of the president and vice president shall be made to have representation of different sex or community. Basically, the top 2 offices cannot be held by people of the same sex from the same community. This is absolute gold for your 10-mark questions because it ties the executive branch directly to Nepal's constitutional ethos of proportional inclusion. Section 4, Oaths and Vacation. Let's look at the mechanics of entering and leaving these offices, because this is trap city for candidates. You'll want to memorize this comparative breakdown. Under Article 71, the President takes their oath before the Chief Justice, but if they resign under Article 65, they hand that resignation to the Vice President. The Vice President's process is a bit more streamlined. They take their oath before the President, and if they resign under Article 68, they give it right back to the President. Do not get these mixed up on test day. Beyond resignation, how else do these offices become vacant? while Article 65 and 68 say it happens if the 5-year term expires or in the tragic event of death. But the big one to watch out for is impeachment. Pro tip, when you're writing your exam and you mention impeachment, explicitly cite Article 101. That exact cross-reference shows the examiner you really know your stuff.
Let's jump into Section 5, Exam Analysis. Time to shift from studying to testing, with a quick simulation of some multiple-choice questions you're likely to see.
Okay, try this one. Under which article of the Constitution of Nepal can a motion of impeachment be passed to vacate the office of the president? This is a classic Loksewa question, testing your precise memory of those cross-references we just talked about.
The answer is Article 101. Just knowing the president can be impeached is not enough. You need that exact number. Linking Article 65 directly to Article 101 is exactly how you secure a perfect score.
Here's another tricky one, this time about executive functions. According to Article 66, through whom must the recommendation and consent of the Council of Ministers be submitted to the President?
Through the Prime Minister. Article 66 says the President acts on the recommendation and consent of the Council of Ministers, but it explicitly states that it has to flow through the Prime Minister. It's those tiny details that separate the top candidates from everyone else.
Finally, Section 6, Answer Writing Strategies. Let's talk about how to actually put all this on paper and maximize your marks.
Structure is everything, folks. You want to write exactly how an examiner wants to read. Open by citing the exact part and article numbers. Hit them with your legal geography right out of the gate. Use bullet points for lists like qualifications, so it's super easy to scan. Emphasize numerical data, like 45 years or the 5-year term. And for those analytical questions, always connect the prompt to the inclusivity mandate of Article 70.
So if you get a 5-mark question asking for the president's qualifications, don't write a giant, rambling paragraph, keep it crisp. Intro, cite Part 6, Article 64. Body, use bullets for the 4 key elements we covered. Conclusion, drop a quick 1-sentence wrap-up. Give the examiner the facts fast and cleanly.
Now, for a 10-mark question about the electoral process and diversity, you need to show real analytical depth. Break it down. Part 1. Detail the hard mechanics of Article 62, the Electoral College, and those 3 voting rounds. Part 2. Analyze the philosophical weight of Article 70's mandate for different sex or community. And for your conclusion, summarize how these articles together reflect Nepal's federal, inclusive, democratic ethos. Combining the raw facts with that philosophical depth, that's a top-tier answer.
So as you keep studying, ponder this final question. How does Part 6 of the Constitution brilliantly balance strict majoritarian election mechanics with an absolute mandate for demographic inclusion? Grasping that balance isn't just about understanding the executive branch. It's the secret to completely acing this topic on your Loksewa exam. Keep reviewing this explainer, dial in your answer structures, and you're going to do great. Catch you in the next one.